Retirement is dead. Especially for those of you 65 years and younger, retirement as we know it is dead. Here are 8 reasons why. Number 1, longevity. 90% of people now are not equipped to be able to handle a 20 to 30 year retirement. 90%. When they first set up Social Security back in the 30s, you're supposed to retire at 65 and you might have 10 or 15 years left of life. It's not how it is now. It's just not. We live so much longer now, and people are not equipped to handle a 20 to 30 year lifespan. Number 2, there are people trying to shift Medicare to more of the responsibility for the individual as opposed to government. If you're 30 years old, how do you think Medicare is going to look by the time you retire? I mean, is it even going to be there? Probably, but not like it is now. People are trying to shift more of the responsibility of Medicare onto the individual for us to take more charge of paying for that as opposed to the government. I mean, 10 years from now, how's Medicare going to be? We don't know. We just don't know. Number 3, market volatility. Now, I retired about a year and a half ago, and I'm 60 years old now, and I retired on moderate income. The market volatility that hit 3 years into my retirement, the sequence of returns risk that hit, I'm about $70,000 or $80,000 down from when I was when I retired. So I realized pretty soon that I'd have to get some additional income coming in because of this market volatility, the sequence of returns risk. You know what? If you need to get additional income coming in during retirement, who cares? Who's defining retirement now as how it used to be? It's your definition. Your retirement is what you make of it. I define retirement as living on my own terms. I retired from a 40-hour work week. If I have to bring additional income in, who cares? I'm still retired in my mind. It's all about you. Do you have the ability to fund however you want your retirement to be? Get some income coming in, that's fine. It's a totally different era of retirement now than it used to be. Number 4, Social Security doubts. I mean, forget about 30 years from now. What about 5 years from now? How's Social Security going to be then? Are we going to have reduced benefit amount? We don't know. They keep kicking it down the road. How's it going to be 20 years from now? If you're 35 years old right now, I wouldn't count on having Social Security when you retire. If you do, it might be, a fraction of what it is now. We don't know what it's going to be. They just keep kicking it down the road. Now, yes, it might be political suicide to try and, reduce Social Security payments. Hey, but we got to fund it somehow. So if you're young, I wouldn't count on Social Security being there. Number 5, shrinking pensions. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, there were still a lot of companies giving out pensions. Try and find them today. They're there, but there's not many of them. My dad was a college professor for 30 years. He retired about 15 years ago with a great pension. I remember him telling me how much he was getting for his pension on a monthly amount. I was blown away. Try and find that today. Hard to find. If you have it, you're lucky. It's awesome. I'm happy for you. But pensions are dying. So that again brings more of the responsibility back to the individual. How are you going to fund your retirement? Do you need to bring income coming in? If so, fine. It's not going to be like 30 years ago where you could retire, sit around and drink iced tea and play with your little hummingbird friends like this guy up here all day long. It's not like that anymore. You're going to have to hustle, man, for a lot of us on moderate income. If you have tons of money in the bank, good for you. You probably got it all figured out. But a lot of us, the majority of us, don't. Number 6, there are so many part-time possibilities out there for work, especially online part-time work, that, if you're sitting around and you've got 12, 14, 16 hours a day to do stuff, You might have all your stuff done by 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You got plenty of time on your hands left, right? Hey, why not get something part-time online? 5, 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week. Now, one thing I'll say is that I tried to do this about 6 months into retirement. For about 4 or 5 months, I was looking hard for online work. Because of your age, it's harder for you to get even part-time work because of your resume. Even if you don't put dates on your resume, they can add those up, right? It adds up pretty easy in someone's mind. Hey, this guy's got a little bit older, so do we really want to bring him in? But there are so many side hustles out there. It's not like a formal online application process. There are so many sidelines out there, side hustles out there that you can bring some income coming in. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. There is nothing wrong with that. In my mind, in your mind, it should be that you're still retired. Number 7, inflation. Now, currently, the last year or so, maybe 9 months, we've been really going through a bad inflationary period. How your dollar can, afford things now as opposed to 9 months ago, not the same. Now, again, inflation goes up and down. It's not always going to be high, but if you just retired, do you think you can really feel confident sitting around doing nothing? I don't. I know I've got to bring some additional money coming in. That's why YouTube has worked out pretty good for me. For you, it could be totally something else. It could be writing. It could be even consulting. A lot of people consult after they retire. Part-time consulting for maybe the job they were in before, to me, that's still being retired. It's just a totally different definition of retirement now than it used to be. There's nothing wrong with that. Things change, people change, the world changes, right? Do what you got to do to make your retirement safe and secure. Number 8, ageism in the workplace. Now, it's not, this has nothing to do with like trying to get work after you're retired. I'm talking while you're still working. I saw it happen to me. There are companies, a lot of companies, that are trying to phase out older workers, right? I saw some of my job responsibilities over time being shifted to younger workers who actually were very good at what they did, making less salary than I was. So when it comes up to the time for layoffs, which it does a lot nowadays, right? I mean, you look up every other month or every month and there's companies doing layoffs left and right. When it comes time to layoffs, who do you think is going to be first in line to get laid off? Those older workers who are making a lot of money, or at least significant amount more than the younger workers. That happened to me. I got laid off. After I was laid off, I couldn't get work with the same amount of salary that I had before. My salary kept going down and down and down and down the last 3 jobs I had, okay? So if you get laid off in your late 50s, that's even harder to try and find other work. So a lot of these people they're being put into involuntary retirement. Scary world out there, guys. It's a scary world. Okay, so those are 8 reasons I believe that retirement is dead. Retirement is not what it used to be. It's a totally different definition now. You know what? Define it how you want it to be defined. Who cares what other people say? This is your life. This is your retirement. Define retirement on your own terms. And remember, as always, we got this.